I want to kind of point to some of the more recent job listings that have been talked about a lot on social media, because you look at all the projects Bungie supposedly has in development, and it ranges from there's the code name for Lightfall that's out there. I forget what it is. Codename Goliath. Both of those are Destiny projects. Mm-hmm. Okay. They're presumably there's one for the Final Shape. Okay, so that's like 3 of their 7 projects. Matter is one. The mobile IP is one. The Destiny animated series, they are actually actively hiring people, apparently, to work on like that and franchise expansion. Mm-hmm. They are in incubation on a single-player, third-person action-adventure game. And then there was something that came out this week, like supposedly in the job listings. I haven't read it myself. I'm going off Twitter hearsay that we're saying like, oh yeah, we saw it in a job listing, that a new competitive game is being planned in the Destiny universe.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
Paul Tassi wrote about it.
So my apologies, Paul. I know you listen to this. I have not read what Paul said about it just yet. But this does and does not surprise me. Like, we were just talking about how like Trials needs refreshes and stuff. Like,
what if this ends up being their hero shooter, and you play as the other like Guardians, like Shaxx and Ikora?
Like, what if this is their answer to like Overwatch?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I would kind of be into it. I
don't think anybody does gunplay better than Bungie.
Yeah, but like they each have their own like unique weapons. You know?
I guess my fear for a game like that is that still would not be what people want, though, unfortunately. Like, they want a game that basically they would want Crucible to be its own game, essentially. And if you did something like that, like, great, but you would still need to have, I think, some sort of PvP element in the base Destiny game.
Yeah.
Like, whether that's leaving in, basically taking out competitive and taking out, like, trials or something. I don't know what you do, or you make it to where, like, light level just doesn't matter anymore. Because, let's be honest, like, that's a big reason why light level is still in here, is because of things like trials. I don't know why GMs are locked. Just be like, well, you may want to go get better gear before you do this, but, let us do it. I don't know. There's got to be a solution here, though, and I don't know that making a separate PvP game after 8 years is the answer. We're about to enter year 8 of this franchise, and you're just now deciding this might be a good idea. Like, you probably should have been having this discussion, like, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, post-Destiny 1, you probably should have been having this conversation.
Yeah. You want me to read this article on Forbes real quick? This
excerpt read it out to me, so that I'm not talking out of my ass.
I just found an excerpt. I recommend reading the whole thing. I read it earlier, but this thing, it says, I said previously that Destiny is almost tailor-made to transition into a game with a hero roster. I made the above graphic when I was musing about the possibility, a possibility that now seems more likely than less. If the image is cool, it kind of looks like a fighting game roster, but Destiny heroes. Destiny already has the framework for so many potential heroes that I have to believe that this is what's going to happen. Destiny easily works within the quote skill plus ultimate concept at baseline. It would be easy to imagine playing as Zavala with a Thunder Crash ultimate and a shoulder charge skill move. I mean, that's not Zavala, though. Zavala's a Sentinel Titan, but that's okay. It's okay, Paul, I forgive you. With a bonus arc grenade that he wields as he wields a Thunderlord. Or Cade 6 returns from the dead with a Golden Gun super, a Trip Mine, and Ace of Spades in his kit. If we are going full Overwatch, a game with gorillas and giant robots as tanks, you could see other larger characters fitting in here like Keitel or Savathun as well. So that's the excerpt. I recommend reading the rest of it. I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Except for the Zavala being a
I don't want a whole game like that, though. Like, I think the Overwatch thing is come and gone.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you see how... remember when Overwatch was like the biggest game on the planet, and Overwatch 2 is struggling to find traction.
Well, Overwatch 2 is struggling to find traction because they abandoned Overwatch 1 like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
instead of supporting it all the way up until 2 came out, knowing full well that everything from 1 was going to carry over to 2. Like, that's a whole nother conversation entirely. That's yet another Blizzard fuck up. But like, we saw who was Gearbox tried to replicate it with Battleborn, and that was an absolute disaster.
That was dead on arrival. That game was
that was dead from the second I played that beta. It was pretty bad.
That was the title of my very first podcast, by the way, Josh. The very first podcast I ever did was about Battleborn. It was called "Penguin in a Mech Suit" was the title of the episode.
Jesus Christ. I don't hate the idea of this, I guess. If you put this out, it feels like it's going to be a DOA game. I would almost rather watch this, like an Overwatch-style Destiny game, be the mobile game, in all frankness.
Yeah.
I would almost rather see it be the mobile game or be a mobile Destiny title. Like, jokingly, I saw somebody say when this was being talked about earlier this week, they were like, watch, it's going to be Trials of Osiris mobile. God. And if it was something like Overwatch, but mobile, I don't think I would hate it nearly as much. I think that if you're going to say, hey, this is a game for the competitive scene for Destiny, like, hey, we're going all in on this. Like, you have access to all the abilities from the beginning. You can kit out. You can do whatever. The problem, I think, becomes loot then. Like, well, if I unlock something in one game, do I unlock it in the other? Do I have to play both games? Like, you have to handle this so delicately, I think.
Well, I think that's where the hero shooter kind of eliminates all that, because I feel like...
That's true. You're not wrong.
I mean, Zavala and Shaxx and Saladin and Ikora already have their movesets and their weapons and their armor. They already have all that.
What if you had a game where that was one mode? Where, like, Overwatch guarding the payload was a mode.
Yeah.
But you had other modes, like you had like a Slayer mode that was like a console friendly version of Valorant.
Mm-hmm.
Or something along that line. Like you had, I mean, like, again, like you said, established heroes, I think would be the way to go, because you have so many characters from throughout the franchise that you can immediately pull out. And, like, I know that, like, we giggle thinking about, like, oh, Keitel or oh, Savathun, but I mean, you could easily just hand them a gun. Like, this does not have to be a canonical game.
Yeah, but I think at this point too, though, I feel like they're so into their lore that you would have to stick to Guardians based on the reviving system, like just characters
say
coming back to life.
I don't even think that. Say it's a simulation. It's a simulation.
Yeah, I guess
there are so many explanations you could use to get around this. Yeah. Hey, if you use the simulation argument, then that means you can use maps from planets that have been vaulted in the other game.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually kind of into this hero shooter idea, to be honest.
I'm talking myself into it. Now that I'm thinking about it as something more than just like Overwatch.
Yeah. And
like there's multiple different modes you could do.
Yeah.
All right, I could be down with that.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not there yet, but I do think it would also be a way to introduce Guardians that we've heard about in the lore and in Legends that we've never gotten to see in person. Like, you could have Cade Six, or not Cade Six, God, fucking Shin Malphur. You could have Andal Brask. You could have Dredge and Yor. I'm naming a whole bunch of hunters here. Jaren Ward. There's so many characters like that you could pull in. You could pull in, I think that if you don't use Gaul and Keitel and just go fucking nuts with it. Bring in Gaul and Keitel and Savathun. Bring in Oryx.
Yeah.
Imagine the only class you can use a sword with is fucking Crota, and you're running around with his sword.
Yeah.
You're the tank.
Yeah.
You could have that, or you could switch to Necrochasm or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, or Crota's arm, his little fucking Matrix hand that comes out. Okay, I'm talking myself into this. There's some cool shit you could do here.
Petra and Marasov, and you could start adding some of them into.
Waldron, you can have Crow, you can have you can't have Amanda because she's not a Guardian.
Maybe she'll become a Guardian by the time this comes out.
I think it would be funny to have Hawthorne be the announcer.
Yeah.
Hawthorne and Amanda are the announcers for a mode or something, or you can play as them, but it's just projections of them.
Yeah.
If you go that route, there's so much you could do here.
Yeah.
There's so much that opens up your universe so much, and
Mhm.
that is something that like, oh, major new NPCs get introduced in Destiny 2, like in the base game. Oh, we're gonna make them available in this season's battle pass
Right.
in the competitive side.
You could add Drifter. Drifter could be playing his own.
I hate that I'm being talked into
No,
this.
you don't. You like it. You like
I
it,
don't.
Josh.
I don't like this at all. But I would play it.
Oh, I would totally
I
play it.
would play that. If it was like that, I would have a very hard time paying $60 for the Crucible to be broken off from Destiny.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like
But I
this.
do
I
think
feel like this would be.
if you did this, I think that comp in base Destiny 2 is gone. It has to be gone.
I feel like this.
Even though I
I feel
know they're
like this.
reworking it.
I feel like this game would be a free to play game almost, though. You don't think this would be free to play? I mean, I guess how would you monetize it? I guess.
I think that it all depends on what Sony would let them do at that point. Because we have to remember that they may be planning this, but Sony is still going to have to say yay or nay once they officially own Bungie.
Yeah. Well.
Do they have the resources to keep up with this? Because I'm sorry, if you don't have the resources to keep up with PvP as it exists now, you better be working on something like this. And then on top of that, we've heard that Matter is supposed to be a competitive PvP game. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to be playing 3 Bungie games at all times. So one of those is going to suffer, and I don't think it's going to be base Destiny.
Yeah.
I think it's much more likely to be an arena shooter, honestly.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess if you did do it free to play, that would be an idea. That would be a way you could go. Or, like, the base game is only $30, and, like, you get access to, like, 20 heroes to start with, but, like, other ones are add-ons. Kind of like
Maybe-
how MOBAs.
Maybe how they do Apex Legends, where like the base version is free to play, but every season you get a new hero and you buy the hero. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, games like Rainbow Six Siege have done that to great effect.
Yeah.
Rainbow Six, obviously, Apex. I could see them doing that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Dude, imagine they put Rolk in the game. I would
God.
pay $10 to play as Rolk. I'd do it just so I could kick people.
Yeah. God, that'd be like his ultimate or whatever.
I mean, you could do things like that. You can bring in strike bosses. There's a lot of shit you could do here. I'm talking myself into this more and more.
I like this idea, kind of actually, like a lot.
But I'm gonna say, if you're gonna do this, you need to do it soon.
Yeah.
Because I think if you wait until after Final Shape to say, oh, we have a second game in the Destiny universe.
This feels like a mid-season Lightfall kind of drop.
What if
to keep people interested?
So here's my 2 cents. We've never had it explicitly confirmed what Matter is.
Right.
The closest thing we heard is arena shooter.
Right.
What if this is what Matter is?
Yeah, but then they already confirmed that's a new IP, though.
They've confirmed they're working on new IPs. I don't think they explicitly ever... Bungie's never acknowledged the existence of Matter. They've just acknowledged they're working on new IPs.
Yeah.
So, again, I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Nobody take any of this out of context or take this as, like, the gospel. I think, like, a mixture of, like, what Overwatch was doing and what Valorant is doing would probably be the best avenue for this game, because you can't just have it be one thing. You need to have a variety of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that would also let you curtail special usage a lot more, too.
Mm-hmm.
And ability usage more. You can, and the biggest thing is balancing two separate sandboxes.
Yeah.
Again, like, I don't know what you do with the Crucible at that point.
Yeah, but again, I feel like with the characters in this hero shooter, like the archetypes of the characters would be the things that need balance, not the weapons.
Right. I'm not arguing with that. I'm saying I don't know how you justify it to your player base. Hey, we know you're playing Destiny 2, and we're asking you to do Trials and Iron Banner and play comp in this game, but there's a whole new hero shooter for you too. Like, one of those two things is going to die, and I don't think it's going to be what's attached to the story game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess that's my biggest issue here.
Yeah.
Is I don't know how you justify asking people to sink a ton of time into both games, and because that still doesn't solve it may solve like the PvP itch, it does not solve the balancing problem that they have.
Right.
Like subclass 3.0 has made Crucible completely untenable as it currently is.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you do at that point? Like, and I don't think breaking Crucible off into its own title is the answer either.
No, I don't. I definitely don't think that that's the right answer.
Because then you're gonna have the same complaints that I have about Warzone, which is, well, when you play Call of Duty Warzone, you don't have the good shit because you didn't play Black Ops Cold War, you didn't play Modern Warfare, you didn't play Vanguard. Like, you don't have all the good shit here.
Mm-hmm.
You should never have to play another game to be good at a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or to have the best stuff in a game. Like, it should be like purely cosmetic. Like, oh, you went and finished Witch Queen? Cool. You get like you can have a special look on your Hive-based heroes or something,
right.
Or on like on Eris Moore, and anybody associated with the story has like special Hive armor or something, like a special skin you can put on.
It would have to, all the monetization would have to be cosmetic at that point.
Yep. Which I have no problem. I like it when monetization is cosmetic. I'm fine with it. I just, yeah, I struggle with thinking in my mind, what do you do with regular Destiny 2 PvP at that point? Because that doesn't solve the main complaint there.
Yeah.
So.
No, I get it. Yeah. But that would be the problem you have to solve for now. Like, if this hero shooter is successful, that's what you have to solve for. Then, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I have a feeling that if they do a hero shooter, I have a feeling that they will make a Destiny 3 at that point, even though they've been adamant they won't.
Yeah.
And that Crucible would be dropped from it.
Yeah.
And they would just go full on PvE content 24/7.
Yeah.
Which I personally would not want either.
Yeah.
I really like the Crucible. I like what it brings.
I just feel like the PvP aspect keeps you engaged with the game longer.
It does. No, it absolutely does. You come for the PvE, you stay for PvP is what gives it the longevity. And
yeah,
I think that there's been enough issues over the years with Trials in particular that, there's not a healthy player base. And like, I want to see what they do with Season 19. We know the survival rework is coming. I want to see what happens with the Glory playlist before I like make any definitive statements. We will revisit this conversation before the end of the year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I want to see how that shakes out. If that does not shake out well, then I'm 100% on board with the hero shooter. And man, maybe you have to take most of the Crucible. Maybe you have to take competitive Crucible out for a while and completely rework it. I don't know. Like, I think we are fast approaching a point where you have to figure something out.
Yeah.
You have to. Mm-hmm. Like, the player base is only going to get more and more frustrated. And it's the majority of your player base is getting upset because they're not the god tier PvP players.
Right.
But you're seeing both sides of the coin getting mad now, mainly about the ability spam after they said, well, we want to focus on weapon play more. Like, maybe you make it to where in comp or in trials or something, it's only guns, only gunplay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no barricades, no supers, no grenades, no melees, none of that bullshit. Yeah. It's just gunplay.
I mean, that would be kind of cool to see in Destiny, actually.
Call it Armory or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think there are things that are going to happen.
Yeah. I think that would be a really cool mode, though, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I can't believe it hasn't happened yet.